Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're exploring arguments in GraphQL, an essential features that lets you customize the data you fetch. If you have ever wondered how to pass parameters into your queries or how default values work, this video is for you. So, what are arguments? What are they? In GraphQL, arguments allow you to filter, sort, or otherwise customize the data returned by a field. Unlike many programming languages where functions rely on a specific order of arguments, GraphQL arguments are named so you know exactly what you are passing and where it goes. Let's look at an example. This as example. Do you see the starship? Okay. Um, Here the length field, as you can see here, the length field has like length unit equals meter, and it's a float. So the length field takes a named argument called unit. Let's us break it down. So we have length field unit and we have length unit equals meter. Okay, unit is an optional argument of the type length unit. Okay, the default value is meter. So if a client doesn't provide this argument, meter is assumed. Okay, and we have what we call the return type. Like the length field returns a float. You can use these arguments to decide whether to convert the length to meters, feet, or another unit in your resolver function. Okay, next we need to talk about named arguments versus positional arguments. In some languages like JavaScript or Python, functions accept argument in a particular order, but with GraphQL, we have named arguments. This means we specify them by name and we write the query. That's it. As you can see here, we just specify them by the name and write the query, and that's it. By doing this, we don't have to remember an argument order. It's super clear which values correspond to which arguments. It helps avoid errors when adding or removing arguments in the future. Okay, the other segments we need to talk about. We need to talk about the required versus the optional arguments before we go to our example, because it's a pretty important thing to talk about. Yeah, exactly. So first we want to talk about optional arguments. If an argument has a default value or it's typed but not required, it's optional. If the length example, as you can here, where is the length? Yeah, here. In the length example, unit default to meter, it's not provided, so it's optional. Next, we have what we call a required arguments, like the ID and the name. As you can see, they have like this exclamation mark. To make an argument required, do you mark its type as non-null? So you put this exclamation mark. This means a client must include the argument or the server will throw an error. Okay, let's look at this example. I guess next we need to talk about how arguments are used in resolvers. So to see this example here, we have a resolver and we have what we call a starship and length, and we have all these arguments, and yeah. So see the args here. Args contain the named argument from the query. In this case, we have unit from args. We apply logic based on argument value, like converting meters to feet. Also, we can talk about some particular use cases for filtering and searching. Like you can pass arguments to filter by attributes like status, data range, or category. Like all books we need from the journal is CIFI and published after 2020, for example. Or maybe we use them also for pagination Also, we can use them for data transmission, like as with the starship length example. Arguments let you transform data, like converting units or formatting dates. Okay, let's wrap everything up. It was a pretty easy video to talk about arguments and how they work. So that's a quick rundown on GraphQL arguments. We have some key points. Number one, named versus positional arguments. This makes queries more explicit and maintainable. Number two, required versus optional, like none. Use non-null, which is the exclamation mark, to require arguments, or set default values for optional ones. Number three, with power for customization. Arguments let clients tailor the data they want, filtering, sorting, or transforming results. If this video helped you understand how arguments work in GraphQL, be sure to like and subscribe. Drop comment in the if you have any question in your mind, and if you want to see how to implement these arguments in real world projects. Thanks for turning in, and I will see you in the next video.